front page for Thursday, February 24th, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Russia has launched a massive coordinated attack on Ukraine, with Russian jets reportedly hitting major Ukrainian cities and ground forces crossing into Ukrainian territory on multiple fronts. Ben Wolfgang reports Russian President Vladimir Putin's long-feared invasion threatens to plunge all of Eastern Europe into its most devastating conflict since World War II. Putin cast the invasion as an effort to push back on Ukrainian aggression aimed at the breakaway region of Donetsk and Luhansk, which Russia recognized as independent states earlier this week. But Russian military moves extend far beyond those territories and indicate that a full-scale invasion is underway. Explosions were reported in at least 16 Ukrainian cities, suggesting the massive Russian assault is aimed at both taking out Ukraine's military defenses while also terrifying its civilians. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky quickly declared martial law within his country and formally cut off diplomatic relations with Russia, signaling the West's diplomatic efforts to defuse the simmering crisis are being abandoned amid the beginnings of war. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. If you don't have access to the Times yet, you can visit WashingtonTimes.com/George for a special subscription offer. The Biden administration's push to revive the 2015 Iran nuclear deal has hit fresh snags. Ben Wolfgang reports Iran recalled its top negotiator for multi-party talks, while the spiraling Ukraine crisis continues to strain negotiations that have struggled for months to gain steam. The White House has said the talks in Vienna, which include representatives from the United States, Iran, Russia, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and China, were in their final stages, but Iran's move suggests a breakthrough may not be imminent. U.S.-Russian friction over Ukraine has threatened to undermine whatever momentum was taking hold in the talks. Analysts question the extent to which Russia could try to exploit the negotiations to damage President Biden's stature on the world stage. In the past month, 2 more states have passed resolutions to hold an Article 5 convention to propose amendments to the Constitution, bringing the total to 17 states, or half of the 34 needed to trigger the event. Valerie Richardson details the process and what those behind the effort hope to change. The resolution would have Congress call a convention of the states limited to proposing constitutional amendments to impose fiscal restraints on the federal government, limit the power and jurisdiction of the federal government, and limit the terms of office for its officials and for members of Congress. Proposed amendments would need the support of the majority of states, 26, to pass out of the convention and begin the ratification process. As with amendments introduced by Congress, 2/3 of the states, or 38, would be required for ratification. The resolution effort is primarily a conservative phenomenon. And finally, Susan Ferricchio and Kerry Pickett preview what to expect from this year's Conservative Political Action Conference in Orlando. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who is running for a second term but is also thought to be considering a presidential run, will speak, as will former President Trump, who still commands a significant chunk of support among Republican Party voters. Polls suggest Republicans are on track to win back the gavel in the House in the midterm elections. The conference will address some of the reasons they think the party is on that course to win back voters in November. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us on every major podcast platform. Just search Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.